Hello. So in this tutorial we're going to do something a little bit more challenging, a little bit different. We're going to take a model that exists in CREO parametric, HPTC parametric modeler, and we're going to export it to 3D Studio Max. So the way we do that is very simple. Well, there are many ways. There are many ways, actually. It's very important to remember that, and it depends on what you want to achieve. I will show you two ways, and we'll see what comes out of it. Okay, so we launch CREO parametric. Always take a little bit of time, and we have to make sure we have the CREO files, so they are here in this folder. So we make sure we create the way I work is I first set up the working directory before doing anything. So we close these welcoming prompts. We go to file, we go to manage session, we select working directory, and we change it to the directory where we have the files. That's the way I do it. Some people ignore that, but forgive me, that's my way. So we go to, and here the file, sorry, here. Okay, so we've done that. Now we have it in the working directory. We can just open, and here's assembly. We open that, and here's our assembly. So we have our model complete. And now what you're going to do, you're going to export it. So the way to export this is a fairly complex thing with a lot of parts. It's not just a cube or a box or something, and you have to make sure we can do something nice with this. Right, so we go to file, we go to save as, and here we change the type. So instead of saving as assembly, we're going to save at two different type of files. First, we're going to save it as a step file, and we're also going to save it as IGES. So first step, so where's the step file? Step file here, and we look at the option. There are sometimes options, so we have to choose the protocol. We leave as it is. We save it, we export as it is. We don't include the facet, we don't include cable surface, and we have a lot of other things that might be needed, but we don't. We just leave it like that, and we say OK, and then we're going to save it as a STP file, and we're going to customize as well. So we'd say OK, and we customize. No, we keep everything as it is, and we say export. All right. So we make sure all these options are always open to see what comes out of it. And we have to see somewhere where is our file. So here we have it. Our file is here, STP. Now we're going to save it as something else. We're going to save it as an IGES file. So we need also to look at something before we do that, because we need to be curious a little bit. So we go into simple oh, why is it taking so long? Sorry, my network is a bit slow. It's a bit slow. What a shame, because what we want to do is to find out what is the STP file. So if we type, I'll do it on my mobile phone because this is taking too long. So STP file, okay, STP file format. Okay. And then we have here what STP file format stands for. So an STP file format is a 3D object in CAD, and it's used to represent a 3D object. Okay, what are the criticisms? Just let's have a look. They're widely adopted. It's not storage efficient. Okay. So you need to repair before importing. Okay, it's good to know. So that's the STP file. Next, we're going to look at the other file that we want to export, which is the IGES file. So we open again with this. Just good to know what are these file format, okay? So what is an IGES? IGES file format. It's IGES. I didn't get it wrong. Sorry, my mouse. Everything is problematic on a Windows computer. IGES file format, yes. Yes. It's initial graphic exchange specification. It's a file format. So we're going to use both and see what comes out of it. So we've exported the STP. Now we're going to export the IGES. So we go again here. We go to Save As. We save a copy. And this time instead of ASM, we're going to put IGES. Here it is. And we're going to go for the options. Export assembly as flat. Yep. Include hidden entity. Yeah. Parameter. Nothing that we look at that looks unusual or something. And that will be okay. So we cancel that. And we customize. And then we say okay. And okay. And we should have IGES file. Yes, here we are. So we have here both the IGES and the STP file. So next what we do, we finished with our business with CREO. We can close CREO. We don't need to save anything. And once that's saved, we can move to the next part, which is we launch 3DSMax. And once that's launched, here we are. So we're going to go to File and we're going to go to Import. So we don't do Open, we do Import. So we import, and there we can see all the format that's accepted, and hopefully we have both IGES, yes, and we have STP, yes. So we start with the IGES, and of course it's not in this folder, it's in the folder Documents. Let me get there. Documents, local Google Drive, associate, CREO file, and here's our IGES, and we open that. And we convert to mesh, so we can have this on and off. We're gonna have it on now, and we're gonna have it off later. And we're gonna have an average neutral mesh resolution, and we don't keep doing it, and we do import. And some things would happen. It's happening slowly but surely. Still going on. And here's our object, so we can have a look at it. And it's our object, and it's a solid. We can see different parts. Oh, it's one. Okay, it's one object. But yeah, so that's how it came out. You can see it's not. Oh, it's a bit. Let's have a look at this. W. So, yeah, it's fairly well exported, but when you look at it as wireframe, it's a bit of a mess. But unfortunately, that's the way things happen when you export from one to the other. Okay, so now what we need to do is to think about it and try something different. So we're going to quit this, we're going to reset, we're not going to save, and we're going to do the same, but this time we're not going to minimize. So File, import, and then when we import this, we're going to change some of the options. So we're not going to convert to mesh. And you're going to see what happens here, so that you see the difference. Okay, and best way to show the difference is to show you directly on the software. Sorry, I'm playing music now. So you can see the progress bar at the bottom. It's down around the third. Okay, so that's better. As you can see, with no conversion, we have a much more accurate and much more similar to the CREO model modeling. So the conclusion is best not to use the mesh, and the demonstration is there live in front of you. And there's no loss in the texture, sorry, in the appearance of the object. Now what you can do is, if we click this, so we can select different objects, and again with the same we can do the modifier list, and we can here modify, we call the modifier list, and we can, for example, oh sorry, what am I doing? We click on the object here, and then we convert it to editable poly. So let's see, because I couldn't see if I click. Yeah, I did convert to editable poly, and then here we go to edit poly, and we have here different polylines, so we can do polygon, and you can see different polygon. Okay, as you can see, unfortunately the polygons are back to the way it was with the meshing, but that's unfortunately very difficult to remove because of the way you export from one to the other. You export, it's like as if you export it via the 3D printer, if you see what I mean. So you export the description of the geometry rather than the objects, because they're proprietary between different software. But here we are. You can then select different polys and you can do different things to it. So you can edit your object. That's what you need to understand. Now we're going to try another way. So again, we reset. And we're going to import, so import, and we're going to import an STL file, the step STP file, sorry, the step file. So step, and here it is, and you open that, and you don't convert again, and you import, and again we're going to have here progress. Here we are, 25. It's going backwards, and you should have okay. So here we are. Here is our object, and again we have it here as a solid. So you can use either STP or IGES, and then you convert it to editable poly. And again, you go to the modifier list and you do edit poly, and then you choose polygon, and here you can select the polygon. Once again, as I said, these polygons are represented in a way that is a bit different from the way you have them on CREO, or if you created the object natively in 3D Studio Max, but you can import and you can do things. And of course here you have a shape that is rather more complex than what your average object would be on that you will normally model on 3D Studio Max. Now one thing smart to do is when you import your file into 3D Studio Max, make sure not to import the assembly, because then it becomes one object and it becomes tricky to open and unopen things. What's better to do is to bring in objects, sub-assembly parts, and then put them together in your scene. Okay, that's a better way of doing it. But again, I'm saying that, but it really depends on what model and what you want to do. If you just want to have your object in your scene to do an animation, then this is fine. If you want to animate the object yourself, like disassemble it and put it together, then you might want to have the sub part. If you only want the object as a piece of furniture, for example, or something in the background, then there's no need to. You need only to import the assembly. Again, you have to see what you want to do, and you have to see what you want to achieve. But personally, okay, what you can do next is this as well. So if we save, and we call this imported, and it's this one, we've used the step, so we call it imported step. Here we are, we save that, and then if we reset and we do again the imported with the, I want to show you something else as well. So import as IGES, and we import the IGES, and we don't we have this, so we don't convert into a mesh. Okay, so here's our object. We can then rotate just for the sake of fun of it. Here it is. Oh, yeah. Okay, and then we save this, and this time is imported by this IGES. Okay, when you open, sorry. Oh, yes, yeah. So if you go in, so as you can see, the IGES file is slightly larger than the step file. So the IGES file is 15,564 kilobits, so that's 15 megabit, and the step file is 10 megabits, so there's a 5 megabit difference, which is very substantial. And you need to take that also into account, because your file might have different sizes and you might end up with files that are far too big. Okay, so again, there is no one way of doing it. There are many ways, and it depends on what you want to achieve, and it depends on what's the purpose of the 3DSMax file. Do you want to use it for animation? Do you want to use what you've imported as a background or as a furniture to your animation, or do you want to animate what you're importing? So you want to disassemble it and then put it back together. Because if you want to disassemble it and then put it back together, don't import the assembly as one file. Import each part separately and put them, and then animate them as if they were separate objects. Okay? Thank you very much, and good luck. Bye-bye.